For Curtis Nielsen, May 6th has become a date to remember in more ways than one. Like many other parents, he was shocked to hear the news last Thursday that a student had pulled a gun from her backpack and fired multiple rounds inside Rigby Middle School, where his son attends. His son Ivan was not among the injured that day, but his classroom was in the same hallway where the shooting took place. As Nielsen sent his son out the door Tuesday morning for his first day back to school since the shooting, he recalled the events of last week with a unique perspective.
We all in my family took the perspective of, hey, that wasn't a good day, but the day a year ago was much worse.
On May 6th, 2020, his wife Melissa, or Missy as she was known to friends and family, was hit by a car within 220 yards of their home on 136 North in the Sandstone subdivision. The driver was 46-year-old Lincoln Lear, the Nielsen's next-door neighbor. A probable cause affidavit obtained during the investigation revealed it was a case of distracted driving. Lear hit Missy while trying to grab his phone charger on the passenger side of his vehicle. As Lear looked up and realized what had happened, he immediately called 911. Deputies arrived within minutes and administered CPR. But Melissa did not make it. 2 months later, Lear appeared in court on charges of vehicular manslaughter, and Nielsen provided an emotional testimony on his neighbor's behalf. "It's unfortunate this happened. I love my wife," Curtis said at the court hearing. "But if you know Lincoln like I do, he has no malice. He's a gentle person. It's a mistake many of us have made before and not had the same consequence. I don't have any ill feelings toward him," he went on to say. "I forgave him and hugged him that morning of the accident. He's paid enough for that moment of just being distracted. Even though it was tragic, there have been many blessings that have come because of it, and I see those more and more as time has gone on." After listening to Curtis and Lear's attorney, the judge sentenced Lear to a year of probation, with the removal of the conviction from his record upon successful completion of his probation. Since the hearing, Lear says the judge's ruling has been a huge blessing for him and his family. His wife and sons are disabled and require constant care. If it hadn't been for the judge's ruling that day, Lear says his family would be in dire circumstances.
My wife can't function as a normal parent, and it would have been ugly. Probation allowed me to drive to work and to doctor appointments and groceries and whatnot to take care of my family.
Lear's probation will be complete sometime in July. Though he's grateful for Curtis's support and the judge's mercy to him, Lear says he wishes every day he could change the outcome of the accident.
It's hard for me just to look at their kids because, I took away their mother from them. Curtis was obviously understanding, and sure, their family's going through. I just can't imagine just all the changes their family had to make overnight.
Over the last year, Curtis says he's never once felt bitterness or anger about what happened. He and his 4 kids have felt Missy's presence many times, and they've grown closer as they've learned to navigate their way through what he describes as the new normal. Curtis knew the anniversary of Missy's death would be an emotional day for the entire family, and he made it a point to try and maintain that new sense of normalcy for the kids.
My Trinity didn't go to school that day just because that's what she wanted to help her heal. The rest of the kids, I was like, hey, it's going to be a normal day. We're going to do the school thing. I went to work.
It was shortly after arriving at work that Curtis heard about the shooting at his son's school.
Initially, I was a little bit worried, but Ivan has a phone. He texted me and said, hey, I'm fine.
Curtis says his concern then shifted to the victims, which included 2 of Ivan's classmates and the female student who fired the shots. In the wake of another tragedy, Curtis is grateful his son is okay, and he's counting his blessings that the outcome wasn't as tragic as the events of May 6th, 2020. Though it's been a difficult journey over the last 12 months, life recently started moving in a new direction for Curtis and his family. He started dating a woman several months ago, and he's happy with how that's going. He's also in the market for a new home and is looking to sell the one they're currently living in.
The house we live in is Missy's house, and there's too much history there that's painful. I want to say the same schools and all that stuff. We really love the community.
If there's one thing Curtis has learned over the last year, he says it's to not take life for granted. His relationship with his kids is stronger, and he says if he had a chance to talk to Missy one last time, he'd simply repeat the last words he said to her the day she died. I love you.
It's also helped me realize how important it is to, not take people for granted and make sure you live in the moment. A lot of times we think, oh, we've got time for that, or we make plans for the future, and sometimes we neglect to live in the moment.
I'm Rhett Nelson, EastIdahoNews.com.